Hello, farmers. It's Trevor here, and I am going to play my first series of Farming Simulator 19. And the reason I'm doing it now is because we have the GPS mod and course play. Though the GPS, which is now called, so there you go. I just wanted to show you the very start. This is a farm manager, so we'll start out without any equipment. I have had a look at the map enough to decide more or less where I want to get started rather than waste the time with me driving around getting stuck on stuff. But anyway, I also thought I'd show you all the different mods that I have in case you guys want to take a look. So, in case you want to load any of them. In particular, for this episode, we're probably going to take a look at this auto load wood Fleagle timber runner. In addition to that, we'll probably be buying a Scorpion King right away, so we can get to that, because this is the Lazy Farmer series. We're not doing anything the hard way. Other than the map is going to be challenging. There's our Grizzly Mountain. So we have another notable. Well, I guess they're all kind of notable, but there's the guidance steering. We won't get into that probably too much this episode, but I will, one of the next episodes, go through what I've learned about that. Have some basic placeables, enough to get us started. Had a few mods that we probably won't use in here, just because they involve too much work and we're lazy. But they were neat and fun if you wanted to make this a real logging simulator. Honestly, we have to do so much tree clearing that to try to do it single player, it's a very huge dedication of your time in order to do that. So I'm going to take it the easy way in some respects, but I hopefully we'll have some fun with this. So in any event, there should be plenty of time. You can always pause it if you want to see which mods. If I add any other ones as we go forward, which I don't doubt I will, I'll make sure I show them on this screen. At least it gives you the proper name of them. Most of the mods, I don't hardly ever get mods from any place other than Mod Hub or the farming simulator mods that are kind of included with the game. All right, so let's start this map. As I said, I did take a look at the map, so I have some idea. We start over, if you haven't seen the map, we start at Bob's cabin. And in taking a look at the map, I'll try to get ahead of the loading screen here. Up in the north, there's some good flat areas. There we go. Good flat areas. Oops, go on. Okay, that's fine. Let's hit escape so we can do it this way. So if you come up here, like in this valley, which is what it is, you can kind of tell where the mountains are from these gray markings. There's some good flat area up in here that you could certainly start your farm, except it's so far away from your sell point, and there's just really a good amount of flat land in through here. So all up in here is kind of flat. You'll notice there's some issues with some of this land is very hard to get to. Very little, but it looks like we can probably terraform and get across to like the island. I've seen some guys build bridges. Maybe we'll try that. Not sure, but we'll have a good amount of flat farmland if we land in here. There's a little bit of a hill right here, I noticed. So anyway, let's get started. I think the first place we could probably start right here is we can always borrow the money right back if we need to, but I don't think we're going to need to. The land's pretty cheap on this map. So let's repay all of this money. There we go. So we're down to $1 million, but at the same time, we don't have any debt, which kind of gives us a better reflection of what we actually have. So we're going to come over to land since we're going to need some of that. You don't own any of it when you start out, but if you look, this piece is only $42,000. This piece is a little more expensive, but again, compared to a lot of maps, this is only $178,000. So ultimately, I think our goal is going to be to farm in maybe these three sections because they're the flattest. I guess we could get into buying stuff up here. Again, it's not overly expensive if we want to expand up this way. But at this point, here we go. So I think the place to start might be here, just because, here and here, but we'll get started with one, and then once we get to selling some wood, we'll probably have, a few extra bucks to buy this one. But even though this is a bit expensive, it gives us a good starting place. I think we're going to end up putting our farm buildings and houses, kind of in this area. And then maybe get a field going over here. All right, so we're going to buy that land. All right, so now, here we are at Bob's cabin. And I'm going to take this guy right away. And we'll go head on down to the shop, since that's where we'll be buying the rest of the stuff. And so, I'll cut through the woods here. It's kind of thick. That's another thing about... I guess you could start up here. No reason that you couldn't, except for like right behind us. Oops, can you see it? I can't really see it. It's sort of a huge mountain, so everything we wouldn't really be in the center of our flat land, but if you look and can tell over that way to I guess that's the west, is all flat, and it's all pretty flat right in that area too. They put rocks in every once in a while. It's not the end of the world either. We'll be coming right back. That'll be our main driveway in and out of the farm. That's the road, but that'll be our main way in and out. And way ahead you can see the lumber mill, and then kind of off to our right is where we're going to sell this. Don't really need a pickup truck at this point. Not that we really need the money that much either, but we can always go get another truck if we need it. All right, so let's sell that guy. All right, we're going to come in here. Now what we're going to need is, as part of being lazy, is forestry equipment. Flegel timber runner with auto load wood. We can get wide tires. I'm not sure that it makes any difference. We'll try the wide tires. I had the standard tires. It's a bit tippy, so maybe the wide tires will make it a little bit less tippy. As a matter of fact, when I first ever used it, the first thing I did was flip. Like I didn't get 300 yards before I rolled the damn thing. I'm finding that I usually end up with a favorite tractor. Oh, we don't want a tractor. We're going to get a tractor, and I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be this Case Puma. And the reason for that is it's the biggest tractor you can get. And I think the Fendt is probably very, very similar. But this is the biggest tractor you can get that gets a front loader and narrow wheels. But we're not going to spend our money on that right now. Let's go back to here, because we're going to need a truck to pull this guy. This guy is one of my favorites. A little bit under on the horsepower, which can make a difference when you're pulling these loads. I don't think that the fact that it's a farm... I mean, I like it because I'm always driving on the roads, but you can get these other trucks now with the wider tires. So I think we're going to go for this Man, just because it's, got enough horsepower. And what we'll probably also do... Oh, I want to point something else out. The GPS global positioning system, the guidance steering... I went into the folder for this, into the mod. So I unzipped the mod, and I went into the folder. So you go into the master folder, and then in there you'll see a folder called SCR. Inside of that folder is called a loader.lua file. Now you can open that up with Notepad. If you use something like Notepad++, go down all the way towards the bottom, you'll see on line 231 is like the price, and it's $15,000. I changed it to $2,500, which I actually feel in some ways is a more fair price. Who cares? I want the GPS in all my tractors, so whatever. It's $2,500 for me. It'll be $15,000 for you, unless you change it. Then what you need to do is re-zip all the stuff that's in the master folder, send it to a zip file, and then rename it guidance steering or whatever, and put it back in your mods folder. So anyway, there we go. So we have the truck. Yeah, so we'll go with these Trelleborg wide tires. It makes it look more like something you'd buy to go through the forest, right? And it doesn't cost us any extra, so we don't want the GPS in this vehicle. I don't see any reason for that. Okay. Now, one more thing. The big one. And hopefully you still have enough money. If not, we're going to borrow it. I think we still have a good amount of money, though. So, forestry machines. There we go. 440. Oh, yeah, we got plenty of money still. Wheel setup. Yeah, EcoTrack. I think they use that in, like, areas that are reforesting, but we're not reforesting. We're just, you know, we're going to be... I never noticed there was two different ones. I don't know if it gives you better traction or whatever, but we don't care because we're just clear cutting forests to make farmland. You know, like we don't care about hurting the environment because we're going to just make it farmland. All right, so let's get rid of all those expensive options. Buy this bad boy. Another thing to note, I have played with this guy. This guy was missing branches and like I was kind of surprised. Like I know there's a little bit of a horsepower difference between the two. You know, fair percentage-wise, it's a fair amount. But you know, I bought this guy, and he really was not doing nearly as well as this Scorpion King. Certainly worth the 5,000 extra bucks. That you know, and not. I mean, again, this guy just didn't seem to do as well. He was missing branches, and I don't know. Go with the Scorpion King unless you want to try this guy out for your own curiosity. I never tried this one, and it might be fine. But it also says doesn't do very large trees. And because we're lazy, we want to do very large trees. So let's customize him. And again, we'll just go with the standard setup. Oh, I already bought it. Oop. Let's make sure. Yeah. There we go. All right, so there's our gas station. Obviously, not a very fancy store, but I guess that's what you get when you're in the middle of a logging region, right? We might as well get our Scorpion King going. Even though he's not the fastest one for getting over there. And there we go. So that's the lumber mill. You can kind of see it. Nope, maybe you could have seen the cell point back there. And we don't own this land, but if you paid a lot of attention, like we own everything on the right here. So, and you can see we still have 250,000. So that's a good chunk of change. I don't know that we need to spend any more to get some tree cutting going. Well, we will, because we'll have to get rid of those oak trees. And we're going to do that the lazy way as well. You know what, while we're on the subject, just make this turn. I'll put it in cruise control. P, and we should keep driving. Hopefully we'll go straight without killing ourselves. What we're going to get, I got this mod, the Brooks Chipper. I don't know if you guys have ever used that in the other farming sims, but it basically, you could take a whole tree down with it. The limit, I can see I'm going off the road. The limit is that it turns into wood chips. You know, if we get ourselves a trailer, we'll be able to blow the stuff right into wood chips. And it'll be just far easier than dealing with it. So we've just taken all of this forestry stuff, which will be a lot of work for us, and just made it what I would say is easy. So this is where I think we're going to have the farm. It's pretty local. It's pretty central to a lot of the flat land. Like if we get into farming along that, there's our sawmill where we just were. If we get into farming along that river there, we'll be able to be relatively close. We won't be too far from the cell point, which is down over that way. Yeah, so I think we'll start out by clearing out this this area right here and placing some houses. All right, so let's jump back in this. Any tricks or tips that I have here? Not particularly. I mean, if you've played any farming sim, this is it. We'll be getting rid of a lot of bushes. I've figured out the terraforming thing a little bit more. Uh-oh. Why? Oops. Cut right there. We don't want 1 meter ones. We want 8 meter ones. That's much better. So now we're jammed up on our own self. All right, so let me, I'm just going to go ahead and, cut these pine trees and sell all, well, before I even sell some wood, I'll have a bunch of these cut up and I'll show you the auto loader working, and then you'll be able to guess a lot of the rest pretty easily. All right, talk to you guys in a second. Okay, Scorpion King cut down all of the regular pine trees that it can cut. I went from this rock up here. Now you can see, maybe you can tell, it's been a bit of a hill here. So hills are a bit of a pain. If I do anything, we'd probably do a field over here because it's, placing the buildings, if you haven't done it, is a little tough on hills. I mean, it costs you more money and all. So, but once we get over to about this area or so, it seems like it's relatively flat all the way over. Let's see, can we see that other rock over there? So I got all the pine trees covered. So it's more or less, if you look at the little mini map from the corner down there up to this, where this hill starts behind us off to the west. So anyway, let's hop over to this. I wanted to show you, this guy will pick up stuff. Let me switch, because it doesn't do anything bad. So we could switch load left to right, and let's see, we could show the position. So see how it's loading to the left? Now it doesn't show. I never really used it. Yeah, I don't understand why it's still pointing to the left there, but whatever. So that's stupid. But I do want it to the right. So when it says switch to the left, it means you're on the right. And if I hit B here, it'll pick up this. This log is like a decoration log, but you can sell it. And there's sort of a problem with them in that it'll put it. Now it's going to make, oh, there it goes. See, it puts it standing up, so you kind of have to get them to, of course he won't lay down, he's going to fall off to the left. Alright, so let's switch over to the left. Oops, yeah, now we're picking up all the logs. There you go. So he puts them standing up, and then he's going to fall right off again, because I'm on a hill. Alright, there you go. Come on, buddy. There you go. If you can see, I was moving forward hoping that he would, if you move forward, he'll fall over in line with the truck, but I was on that stupid hill. So let me turn. I found it's better to turn this off and then approach the pile. Otherwise, it just doesn't make as neat a pile in the truck. You don't get quite as many on because like you'll notice it drops them, and as you're moving forward, they shift to the back because you're, it's dropping them in the air. So you can get a pretty good load in here, and then you hit L, and that'll wrap them up. We could probably get a few more. Let's do that. I do like to put the L on anyway if you're moving far at all. And again, I'll turn that off. Let's go get this pile here. I think we're to the right or to the left, so we'll switch back to the right. Yeah. B. Oop. B again, because that's enough. Let's hit L. Now can we pick this guy up? Where the heck is he? Oh, yeah. Let's put him in the front. He's probably a little less likely to... Oh, can we get him in there? Oh, come on. Come on, buddy. There we go. He'll probably stay there and get sold. There you go. So nice pile of wood. Easy, lazy, quick. And we got it strapped down. Now this, I don't know if it's going to be any better with these tires, but I doubt it. I think it's, if you get over, say, 30 miles an hour, yeah, see, he's already a little tippy there. you go 30 on the straights, but if we get up to this turn, if we just tried to turn right now, we'd go over. So we'll slow back down. And I think what I'd like to do to wrap up this episode is show you how I get rid of the, I don't know what kind of tree they are. I don't think that's an oak tree, but I'm not a tree expert. I have a buddy of mine who's kind of a dumb guy, but he knows every darn tree in the, I don't understand why. Like, he's not a savant or anything, but for a guy who can't figure out a checkbook, he knows an awful lot about every damn kind of tree in the world. Anyway. All right, make sure you're on the right side. So if we're switching to the right, now we want to make sure we're, again, on the left. And I like to get a couple of them out of there, and then I'll take off the L. But you can always switch back and forth and get them to go. And then once they're all off of here, we'll get them sold. Now I might have to borrow some money just for the sake of, there we go, sell wood. All right, 35 grand. That's about, if you get about 35 grand, if you're on the same settings I am, that's a nice load of wood. Sometimes you get a little more, most of the times you get a few bucks less. All right, so I think you get the idea. I'll run back and forth doing that in between episodes and clean up the trees. But in the meantime, we want to come and purchase our tractor, which I think we have enough money for. Yeah. So like I said, if you look at these other ones, you get the narrow tires. Oh, this one gets front loading attachment too, doesn't it? So I lied. I didn't mean to lie. How much is that one for? 235 horsepower. We're talking 98,000. Yeah, no upgrade to the horsepower there. So let's go back. And so here we're 225. We'll put the GPS on it. I don't know if I had the GPS on the other one. Narrow tires. Yeah, and so see, this one could get up to 270 horsepower. I don't, and I do want the extra horsepower at this point. It'll be a good chunk of our money, but at the same time, at least we'll have the tractor set up the way we want it. We could also, well, really, the wheels don't cost that much, the engine. And the reason I want the extra engine, all right, so let's go ahead and buy that guy, and that's where I was saying it was the biggest tractor, even though it doesn't look like it in the order of things. And then the John Deere that's here, that one doesn't, oops, it's engine, wheel setup. See, no narrow tires on that John Deere, so even though we could get more horsepower and we could get the front loader, we can't get the, oh, no. Okay, good. All right, so now let's go ahead into forestry equipment. We'll need two more things here. So I don't think we're going to have enough money, but we'll borrow it. Once I sell some trees, we'll be in good shape. So here's the Brooks, and it's cheaty, especially if you use it to take down whole trees. Now, the one thing, if you use it to take down the whole trees, this thing only holds 10,000. You can get more from a tree. So if you chop them up, I'll show you what I mean. Maybe we'll do it each way. So we're just going to go ahead and buy this guy, which will take up most of our money. Go back. Now, what I want to do, because, we could, well, I guess you could do this with a truck. The setup is best, in my opinion, if you, where's the tippers? If you take and attach the tractor to the tipper, to the trailer. So this crone doesn't hold everything, and so at times I'm going to want to hold everything. So what we're going to do is look for the biggest one that has, pretty much everything, including the wood chips we want. This is a regular trailer. So there's 52,000, and it can be pulled by a tractor. Now I know I could get the dolly thing, but that's all right. if we want the, we'll get another trailer down the road that will haul that. This will be plenty of trailer. We won't be able to go quite as fast with the thing, but there you go. 52,000 we can hold in this guy. He's 65,000. We only have 14,000. So let's go back and come into here and borrow until we have 74,000. It's fine. Hopefully we'll make that back pretty quickly. Oh, wrong button. And let's go back into here. Where was it? There it is, 65,000. And we're just going to go with everything standard. I don't see too much reason to change the... There we go. So now we have a tipper, which is in the way of picking up our... We have our nice case tractor with the skinny tires. Let's get around here and get this guy zoom out a bit. Guy hooked up, out of the way. All right, so. Alright, so we're back in debt, which is never fun in life. Well, that's not true. Buying a house is fun in some ways. You know, when you get your first house and you certainly probably, unless you're very wealthy, took on some debt, but it is an exciting moment in your life. Better to pay a mortgage than to pay rent in almost every case, unless you're some kind of military guy where you're moving from year to year. Or I guess there's other jobs that move you around. Okay, so what I want to do, let's come over here. Oh, you know what I didn't get? I didn't get me a chainsaw. I definitely need a chainsaw. And I have owned the same Husqvarna. It was actually a Husqvarna 50, which I think is the similar one to the 550 nowadays, but whatever. So I'm a little loyal to Husqvarna, but all right. So let's see if we can't get this guy running. Yep. All right. So we're gonna cut this tree down. Try to cut this tree down. Oh, there you go. There we go. Close enough. I'd like to get them a little bit low. And that's mostly because of the cutter thing we're going to use. So what I want to do is cut this tree up so that we have I'll show you why we can get more wood chips. Now again, when you're in cheaty mode, I guess you can decide how far you want to cheat. At this point, I do actually kind of want the extra money. I'm going to take this guy and just cut him into chunks. Doesn't got to be too sophisticated in the way you do it. That didn't fall. So let's stand underneath of a cut tree and do this in real life. Oh, come on. There you go. And the reason for this is so that when we go to suck him up into the brucks there, he's in little pieces that aren't over 10,000 wood chips, pounds of wood chips. See a line there. Alright, good enough for demonstration purposes. Let's get rid of that. Alright, so put zero, put your pipe out. We'll unfold this guy. Unfold this guy. There go. All right, let's go over to this tree first. So I'm going to turn on VB. So it's running and it's down on the ground. Now this whole tree, if you look, we have 0 wood chips in there. There you go, boom, gone. So if you're just looking to get rid of trees, you know, there you go, wonderful. But if you look, we only got 10,000. By the way, if you don't want to buy anything else, you can run around and wood chip up those guys. So, you know, you can get all your stumps up. Let's pick this guy up for a second so he's not hitting crap. Same thing with, I'm pretty sure, you know, I usually use the grinder because I just feel it's more, I don't know, enough cheating is enough cheating. You know? Let's put this guy down. Yeah, there you go. So we got nothing for it, but at least they got rid of the thing. You know? All right, so we'll come over here and so now if you look, we have, you know, just over 10,000. So we'll do V. Stump. There we go. We got 1,000 just for that. Look, we got, you know, close to 10,000 for that chunk. We could have cut it up a little bit smaller if we're worried about it. There's another big chunk, got us 7,000. A little slow just so you guys get an idea. There's another 2, 36,000. 45. 48. 53. Boom, 58,000. So you can see the difference is quite clear without even worrying about the little rounding numbers. Oops, we probably should have stayed in there so you can see. So we got, you know, what, 48,000 and might have even lost a little bit. I'm not real sure. You know, we could have cut it up maybe into smaller pieces if we were overly concerned. But that's a pretty lazy way of getting rid of those trees. You know, you can either just suck them down whole, or you can, you know, cut them up into bits. Now I'm going to probably cut them up to bits and run them down there. But before I even do that, because you tend to lose a good amount, you know, like if you go over the 62,000, like you just sort of lose those wood chips. What we can do is maybe we'll just decide here real quick, you know, what we're going to do with our farm. And I kind of want to be right in the middle of the 2 rocks, you know, as far as where I start goes. You know, so like in this neighborhood, right? So I'm going to come up to purchase. I'm going to come over to start landscaping. We don't have much money, so I don't know how much of this we can actually do. And then I want to come up to the... Whoop, stop going forward. All right, you know what? We can do X, change landscaping mode. So if you look, we have a different ground type down there. And I want to go to a nice looking, I'll call it a concrete looking ground type by hitting tab. I think that's going to be pretty nice for our farm, don't you think? So let's come in here. We'll make the brush a little bigger using the arrow key. Yeah, how much is this costing us? Good amount. I just want to make enough area. Go right out to the road. Not enough money. Okay. Yeah, that's rather expensive to do, and I know some people like plopping down buildings, and so we'll get 20 grand because, well, let's see, that might be enough. And the reason I did that is I want to come up here to another mod that I have. Placeable Silo. So they have the regular hay loft that only holds grass and straw. I'm sorry, hay and straw. But I like this guy, extended barns. You don't have enough money. Yeah, I need 100 grand, but it holds everything. So we're going into some debt, aren't we? That's all right. We'll be cutting trees and there we go. We'll be cutting some trees down. We'll make that money back, hopefully, with some labor, but pretty quickly. There we go. So is that a big enough area? Yeah, we don't want to be right next to the road, but there you go. There's the start of our farm. A little bit of a bird's eye view on things from here, right? Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll have some fields over every which direction. We'll have some animals here and there. Probably hold this area towards the animals, and then as we get further away, we'll have the field, just because the animals take a lot of running back and forth. If we can we tilt up and down? No, not so much. But back over in that direction is the mountain, Grizzly Mountain. So looks like we can make some fields down over that way. We're pretty central to a lot of flat areas. So wonderful. And the reason that I did that is if we jump back into this guy, we can now take our 58,000 and dump it in here and wait for wood chip prices to get better, and at the same time we just don't waste so much time, or we don't want to run over there with only 58,000. We can fill this guy all the way up if we want. What do I do? All right. So if we fill this guy, this tractor, the trailer all the way up, it saves some time. And at the same time, like I said, it gives you a place to put them when you are. Does it keep unloading? No. Bad idea. There, I think you get the idea, even if I didn't explain it particularly well just there. And I love the new sculpting tool where you can just get that. And yeah, look, I'm not going to be able to sculpt that. That wasn't the greatest, was it? Where am I? Let's take a quick look. We got $5,000. Let us sculpt that little area there. Otherwise, I may redo it. I'll sell off the wood chips and then I'll get rid of that barn. That's not what I want. I want this, and this, and this. Yep, we're in painting mode. Is that the same ground type? Yeah, you know what? Oh, let's shrink this way down. I think it'll let us. Yeah, there we go. Let's spin around. Zoom in a bit. There we go. Let's spin around. Yeah, well, we got the small tool out. How much money do we have? Yeah, we got enough. There we go. So we got to start to a little farm. Spending. Okay, it's fine. I don't really want to paint what I don't own. There we go. So we got a barn. We got some wood. We got a project to do. So we'll get, there you go. From this view, you can see there's that rock. I'll get all these trees cleared up until this curve here. And that'll give us a nice little place for the farm. By the time we come back, I'll decide where our first field will be. But I think, over there might be a good place. We'll have to get a place to grow the different stuff for our animals. Like, obviously, we could buy some stuff, but I like to, grow it myself. So we probably got an area for a field on that side of the road and another field over there. I'm not sure what I'll do with straight across the road here. You know what? Can we? Yeah, you can see. Here we go. Yeah, see, now we're up on the mountain there. This might give you a good perspective of trees. There we go. So we're down there by the river. And there's a whole bunch of flat land over on the other side of the river there, so we could possibly go in that direction. So there you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.